Still investigating, Iowa City Police search continues involving a crime from over the weekend. And saving lives, new resources available at the UI to aid opioid overdoses.
Iowa secures a tournament win.
Spring is finally and officially here. I'll have more on the spring weather forecast ahead.
All that and more
Coming up right now on DITV.
Good morning from Iowa City. It is Wednesday, March 20th. I'm Johnny Valtman.
And I'm Colin Carruthers.
And the third member of our team, DITV, Hannah Lipsky, is live outside to tell us today's top weather story.
Hannah, it's been chilly the past few days. Are we going to be seeing any spring temperatures anytime soon?
Well, guys, I wouldn't get my hopes up just yet. It is the second official day of spring, but it's not looking to get too much warmer here. I'm live at Hubbard Park, where it's currently 28 degrees, which is the lowest we should see for today. The sun is out, but covered by the clouds, but the sun will stay out all day. Now, today starts out a bit chillier in the high 20s, but we'll get into the 40s in the late afternoon. And to brighten up to the day, the UV will reach 5, which means you'll want to wear some sunscreen. And the temperature will continue to rise throughout the next few days and into next week. But these beautiful spring temperatures comes some spring showers. I'll have more on the upcoming rain in a bit, but for now, I'll send it back to the studio.
Thank you, Hannah. Iowa City Police are still looking for a witness from a stabbing on Saturday. Police responded to a stabbing at the Benton Street Bridge Saturday afternoon and arrested the suspect, Yosarian Williams. Williams has been charged with willful injury causing serious injury, a Class C felony that can be punishable of 10 years in prison. Police are still looking to find the spotted witness caught on camera near the crime scene to make a full conviction. A recently passed education reform bill could greatly impact Iowa school districts. We have DITV's Grace Lothrop live in the newsroom to tell us more about the process of the bill traveling through the Iowa legislature.
Thanks, Johnny. Yeah, after a long and intense floor debate, the Iowa Senate passed an amended version of Iowa's 9 education agencies in regards to special education. The reform passed with majority of Republicans in support and will now go to the House for voting. The topic of area education agencies, or AEAs, has been the biggest one yet for Governor Reynolds, and this reform has been the most controversial one of the season. Reynolds initially proposed that schools will get to decide whether or not to use the AEAs for special education, but the Senate Republicans proposed changes on Monday that instead allow school districts to contract with their AEA, use the special education funding internally, or contract with a third party. AEAs would only receive 10% of special education funding, and then 90% would go to school districts. People in favor of the bill argue that this is needed to reduce government involvement in the school district, while those opposed say the AEAs are already doing a good job of using the funding appropriately. I'll send it back to you, Johnny.
A dorm currently in use this academic year will not be available next year. We have DITV's Claire Green live outside with more details.
Yeah, Johnny, I am outside of Parklawn Residence Hall, which will no longer be a dorm choice for students next year. The university thought that closing Parklawn instead of Mayflower was the right choice. Parklawn accommodates 137 students, lacks amenities, and has limited access to campus, compared to Mayflower, a dorm that houses 1,000 students with a variety of dorm sizes. Despite Parklawn closing, the university currently doesn't have any plans to sell the property and will remain vacant until further notice. Back to you in the studio.
A life-saving drug is now available at the University of Iowa. DITV's Brady Barron talked with experts about how campus can utilize this resource.
The University of Iowa has recently added naloxone, also known as Narcan, and AED cabinets across the university in residence halls and in the IMU to fight back against the opioid epidemic.
It's been estimated that I think as in 2022, there was like 352 overdose or opioid-related overdose deaths in Iowa. Non-fatal overdoses is probably an underestimate, right? Like not everyone who overdoses dies,
Each kit contains 2 nasal spray bottles of Narcan, which are used to help individuals experiencing an opioid overdose.
We tend to introduce naloxone to people as, just part of a first aid kit. It's just part of a really good first aid kit.
And while the idea of administering Narcan to someone during an overdose might seem intimidating, experts say it's really a simple process.
It's really straightforward in how to use it. My small children know that I have naloxone in my purse, my bags in the house. They would be able to administer it.
There's literally no harm in giving someone naloxone if there's any possibility that this might be an overdose.
These kits were added to residence halls at the university last month, and while none have been used yet, they are there for students to use in case of an emergency.
Just having it available, even in a minute or 2 minutes before other emergency personnel might arrive, could be the difference in someone's life.
Student Wellness plans on expanding Narcan's availability across campus over the course of the next year. From Reno Hall, Brady Barron, DITV.
The Iowa City Free Medical and Dental Clinic, or FMC, is recovering from a post-COVID volunteer shortage. COVID kept volunteers from working at the FMC due to health concerns. However, the FMC relies on volunteers as they only have 11 full and part-time staff. The clinic serves people who need affordable options for dental and medical care. Over time, they have recovered, but they are constantly looking for more volunteers due to changing student schedules. Meanwhile, schools nationwide are struggling to fill substitute positions. However, here in the Iowa City Community School District, they are no longer facing that issue. At the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic, the district saw a 10% increase in teachers absent from school. The school district fixed this problem by increasing pay rates from $230 per day for substitutes who stay longer than 11 days. Retired teachers and those who substituted over 20 days also saw an increased rate of $170. As a result, the district is now seeing a 96% fill rate for substitutes. And coming up later, out of state, WNBA fans are already getting excited about a potential move for Caitlin Clark.
But first, let's take a look back outside with DITV's Hannah Lipsky for the forecast over the weekend.
Thanks, Johnny. So today will be the last of the sunshine we'll see for a while because starting tomorrow, it'll be nothing but clouds and rain until mid next week. So tomorrow will be a little warmer, peaking at 46 degrees, but without the sun. Friday could get up to 50 with showers in the morning, and Saturday is a bit chillier, but with no rain and a little bit of sun. But Sunday begins the continuous rain and wind. These conditions will stay until around Wednesday next week. Iowa has been in a drought, so this rain is much needed for vegetation, crops, and the Iowa River. So get outside and enjoy the last of the sunshine while it lasts. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Hannah. And Colin, Hawkeye sports, they have been busy. I was able not only to go to the baseball game yesterday, but also the basketball game. And let me say, it was a mighty good basketball game.
Yeah, absolutely it was. And let's just kick off things with last night. It was an exciting win for the men's basketball team. DITV sports reporter Sarah Galla has more on how the Hawkeyes bounced back from their Big Ten tournament loss.
And the Hawkeyes will be moving on in the National Invitational Tournament. Ending the game today, the Hawks won 91-82 against the Kansas State Wildcats. Peyton Stanford, a true leader of this team, had a career high of 30 points. 7 out of 11 were three-pointers.
It felt like I was messing around, but I was still locked into the game plan and just getting to my spot, shooting it confidently, just doing what I could, having fun with the guys.
Iowa's success in the first half was from their shooting. They were 7-14 from the three-point line, and Kansas State was only 4-18. Ending the first half, the Hawkeyes were up 50-39. Ben Krikke scored 24 points. 21 of those points were scored in the second half.
Ben stepped up and made plays, and in this business, if players make plays, you're gonna be pretty good.
The Wildcats never gave up, and they made a 7-point run around 8 minutes left, making the score 72-67. As the game continued, Kansas State never managed to pull a lead against the Hawks.
We need longer possessions, and we need to get the ball in the basket or get a foul. Because if in the second half, we didn't get to the bonus until late. And that's because of how we were quick shooting the ball early.
From Carver Hawkeye Arena, I'm Sarah Galla, DITV Sports.
Thanks, Sarah. Former University of Iowa offensive tackle Caden Proctor has announced his plans to re-enter the transfer portal. The five-star offensive tackle committed to Iowa his senior year of high school before flipping his commitment to the University of Alabama in 2022. Proctor started 14 games as a true freshman left tackle for the Crimson Tide, including the Rose Bowl this past December. Once former Alabama head coach Nick Saban announced his retirement in January, Proctor entered the transfer portal before committing to Iowa shortly thereafter. Yesterday, Iowa head coach Kirk Ferentz said in a statement, "It is unfortunate that Caden has informed us of his intentions to leave our program today. We wish him well in the future." Proctor only studied at the university for half a semester. And on a brighter note for Hawkeye fans, the Iowa baseball team added yet another victory under their belt as they dominated against Grandview yesterday. The Hawks immediately scored 5 runs in the first 2 innings, giving them a comfortable lead early on. The bats stayed hot in the 3rd and 4th, but especially at the bottom of the 5th, where they scored 15 runs on 13 hits. The rally began with a walk that would be brought in by Gable Mitchell on an RBI single. Then it was singles, sac flies, and Grandview defensive errors that contributed to Iowa's 25-3 victory. The team will next go to Purdue for their first Big Ten series of the season. Tomorrow, Iowa men's wrestling will hit the road to Kansas City, Missouri to compete in the NCAA championships. They will be sending 9 wrestlers to take a shot at continuing a historic streak of Iowa champions. The Hawkeyes have won 14 of the last 15 championships as a team. These have all come under head coach Tom Brands, who's been leading the program for 16 seasons, one of which was canceled due to COVID. Coach Brands shares his keys to making sure his guys have the best chance at success. They'll start with Session 1 at 11 a.m. tomorrow on ESPNU. And the Iowa women's softball team is getting ready to open up Big Ten play for themselves against a familiar foe this weekend. The Hawks are facing off against border rival Wisconsin in a 3-game homestand starting on Thursday at 2:30 p.m. Iowa comes in hot on a 4-game winning streak, playing 2 games each against Sacramento State and Pacific College over the weekend. On the final day of the series, they blew out Pacific 10-1 and Sacramento State 6-1. Pitcher Jaleo Joe dazzled on the mound for the Hawks, allowing no runs in the last 11 innings of the series. And the men's golf team took on the All-American Intercollegiate in Houston. The Hawkeyes finished 7th as a team, scoring 19 over par during their final round of play. They shot a team best 4 under par, led by junior Ian Meyer, who shot a personal best 5 under par, including 6 birdies with just 1 bogey. The guys will now get ready for the 2024 Calusa Cup in Naples, Florida on April 3rd.
A lot going on in sports, as you can see there, Colin.
Absolutely, just a lot of good stuff going on, a lot of stuff that's been going on well, and a lot of stuff to look forward to for this Hawkeyes athletic program.
And it's March Madness, but still a lot of postseason action for multiple other teams. But speaking of March Madness, before that, Caitlin Clark is still here at Iowa, but in Indianapolis, Indiana, they are already anticipating Clark to land at the Indiana Fever for her new home. A mural is up in the west side of Indianapolis made by local artist Quasar Martin. The mural has Clark with the Hawkeye logo right next to the Fever logo.
As soon as I seen her make herself eligible for the draft, 2 days after is when I started the wall.
Fever have the first pick of the WNBA draft, which will take place April 15th. And before we can even get to that, Colin, a lot of madness going to be happening as March Madness officially kicking off tomorrow. Cannot wait for the games.
Absolutely, it's been incredible. So I'm struggling to pick my teams for both the men's and women's bracket, but I'm really excited just to sit down and watch basketball all day.
I mean, it's very hard not to have the Hawkeyes go all the way for the women's bracket. And I still don't know about the men's yet.
Oh, absolutely not. I've been trying to go back and forth between Houston and that other team over in Ames, but a lot of good stuff to go for.
Yeah. And we'd like to thank you for joining us and listening on KRUI 89.7 FM.
We're here live from Iowa City every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8:30 a.m. and online anytime at thedailyiowan.com.
For Hannah Lipsky and Colin Carruthers, I'm Johnny Valtman. See you again on Friday morning right here on DITV.